Well, we got the RHINO ramps all set. Actually, what I do to make them real easy to get up on here is I lock the front hubs, put it in four-wheel drive low, and it's got a locker in the back. Because the one thing, the ramps sometimes can slide out, but it goes up real easy when you put it in four-wheel drive with the locker in the back. So get it up there. We're going to do a little bit of maintenance. I'm going to spray down the inside of the tires with that UV aerospace protectant 303 so the tires don't rot out. And we're also going to check the transmission, transfer case, and the two differential fluids. And just give a quick spot check on every damn thing, see what the hell, what's going on. But I love these ramps. I wouldn't put a Ford F-250 up on them, although I think they're easily rated for it too. But I have put the El Camino up on them, just a little lightweight Samurai or Jimny 1300. Easily handles these ramps. They're RHINO ramps. See it right there. I've had them a number of years. What you would want to do is keep them out of sunlight, or maybe like truck bed line them so they're protected from UV light. Because I think, UV light could actually, I don't care what plastic it is, it's probably going to degrade it, but they've always been kept inside of there, so, or under some kind of shade, so, they should be they're still good. I've had them for about 20 years or more. They're good damn ramps, man. Come in very handy. Very quick way to get everything up off the ground. So very easy to get them up there, get this vehicle up there in four-wheel low. Low on the transfer case with a locker. The only thing is you got to watch if you got a an open end rear, just rear wheel drive. You might want to take a stake or something to keep this. See how it has like a little hole in here? You put a tent stake in there, like without a pointy end, which has like a button end on it, so you could stake them down. And if you do that, you might have to get like a 6-inch running start. You'll get right up there. So, but this gives you an idea too. Like if you had a 6-inch lift, compete between, say you had a 2-inch body lift and a 4-inch suspension lift, be up this high. It's pretty damn high, man. I'd be scared to drive this thing that high because this isn't really a Samurai. This is a Jimny 1300. It's got the same 1300 motor, the same exact differentials, the same exact transfer case and transmission, but the housing on the axles, the pumpkin differentials are the same, except they're a little higher geared. I think they're 390 gears instead of 373s. But the axles and the axle housing is shorter, and so it's got 3.5 inch more. It's 3.5 inches more narrow than a Samurai. So if you lift this thing up, man, you better be careful or have a very good suspension. So I'm not going to lift it, but it does come in handy sometimes just having that 3.5 inches less width to get through something. The sucker's pretty skinny, man. The body's the same. The body's the same. What the Samurai did was, it's basically a Samurai though. It's the same engine, transfer case, pumpkins. The axles are shorter axle housings. They just put a extension on this. What do you call it? The fender skirt, what the hell it is? The fender flare. And the bumper has got like end caps on it, so the tires sit out like 1 3/4 in each side, so 3.5 inches total width. These things aren't really out that unsafe, man. I've been driving this for 30 years, man. So, I don't think it's that unsafe. Well, another gallon of that 303 protectant just came in. I'm pretty much sold on this stuff now. I never used it before, till recently, but went down her little mechanic creeper, and this thing's almost gone, so I'll be filling it up with that. Got the inside of the tires and the outside. So next, we got to do the transmission plugs here and transfer case plugs. Well, I keep the ratchet for the fill plug in my this little tool bag I got from C.H. Cadell's. It's actually a Nice thick canvas thing. It's pretty damn good. Also with an E-tool sockets, a little tiny hatchet with a fire starter, duct tape, and a saw. But I keep the oil in there too. This little adapter gizmo works great. You can just pull this cap off of here, and when you squeeze it, you'll see the oil comes up. It's nice and wide and it's clear, so you can see what the hell's going on, so you can fill up the trans oil. This thing is a 15/16, and this ratchet was actually rebuilt, believe it or not, from parts that I had to get on eBay. It's so damn old. I actually used it as a breaker bar and busted it one time many years ago on a 66 Dutch 3/4 ton truck. But I think they tell you to use a 22 millimeter or something for this, and the 15/16 fits on her better. It fits on her a little tighter, and that's important because when I was using, I think, the 22 millimeter, which I think is the proper size, it actually stripped out the plug. You know, there's my flag flying. Hoorah! It's actually rounded off the plug after a while, and I had to use channel locks to get it out. And you can buy replacement plugs from like Roadless Gear. I think they sell them. I think that's where I got them from. But I keep this in there with some oil just in case I ever freaking get low on oil. And you know, I don't know. It's got a real slight seepage. I probably got to put some more AT205 in here. But I haven't filled it up in like a year, so it ain't that bad. And you can see the transmission plug right up there, and that's where you drain it. Then on the transfer case, here's your plug right there, and it doesn't take a lot, and that's where you drain it. You can see I changed out this plug already, so it's real easy to fill up. So I'm not going to even show you how to do it. I mean, it's just a matter of taking this thing, sticking it up there and squeezing it until it dribbles out, put the plug back in. But I have found that yeah, I see this on here. Some of the stupid camera ain't showing up right here. Well, maybe it's because of reflection or something's going on here. You see it's funky looking in there. Yeah, it's a 15/16, not metric. I think they tell you to use a 22, but I found that the 15/16 fits on here perfect, man. It's like a perfect fit, no wobble. So I changed these plugs out, and using this one's a hell of a lot better. So if you got a Samurai or something, use that 15/16 versus the millimeter, even though you're not supposed to. It actually fits on there just a hair tighter. The other thing, you want to put some anti-seize on this plug, even though it's got oil on it and stuff, and usually that's enough. If it's in there a while, you could have a hard time getting it out. I've had great difficulty getting these plugs out sometimes, and that's how they get chewed up. Not just using the proper 22 millimeter size, but also the 15/16 actually fits on there better than whatever they tell you to use from Suzuki. It actually fits on there a little more snug. But use some anti-seize lubricant on it, and it'll come out real easy the next time you go to do this. Well, I just filled up well, actually didn't need to fill out the pumpkins. Both the front and rear differentials were fine. The transfer case was fine. Transmission needed a little oil. It wasn't that bad though, but that's after 2 years. It's got a really slight leak, but I'll probably put a little AT205 reseal in it. Also, I don't know if you can see, but I got the brake line up there, the rubber hose. Even though they're old, I sprayed them down. The front one, there's one rear one, brake line hose, and 2 front ones, one on each side. There's one just for the axle, the axle. I sprayed that stuff on and doused them down. So this thing's been rust proof really good. I already doused the springs down with what do you call that stuff again, man? Not Cosmoline. I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's like a real thick oil, man. It's not New Hampshire oil. I forgot what the hell you call it again. But I already did the springs with that stuff, so there's no squeaks in here. It's got a little, there's a little engine oil leak here. It looks a lot worse than it is, but 2,000 miles later, you change the oil, it's still full. So everything's on this thing is still good. It's It's 33 years old, and I've owned it for over 30 years. So I'll continue to own it. The hell with it. It's good to go, man. Don't tell me the old stuff ain't good, man. It's damn good. Just put the cap back on this. This thing is the best thing in the world, man. Just it's actually clamped on there, and it's a little super glue holding the hose on so it won't slide off. I cleaned the hose off. And since it's clear, it's wide, it's got a little bit of a cut in it this way. It fits in all the filler holes real easy. And this is easy to do, more so when it's hot out because the oil's, you know, not thick. But say you're doing this in freezing cold temperatures, it's good having a wider thing like this with a little angle cut on here so you can fit it in the filler thing, because it's harder to squeeze the oil out of it. But when it's wide like this and it's clear, you could still squeeze the oil out of it even if you're working in temperatures below freezing. So anyway, it's the cheapest freaking filler thing going. And you know, when you get down to about half of this, you just fill it up to here, and then you squeeze. You know, you could squeeze the oil in it, because when it gets down low, it's like you know, it's hard to squeeze the oil in it. But just take another quart and throw it in there, man, and you're good to go. Over and out.